What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. It's time for a Donkey Kong video that's positive. Yay! Today, we are going to look back at something a little bit different that I've been wanting to plan for quite a bit. See, we all know King K Rool, right? The goofy, menacing crocodile that steals DK's bananas. Almost tried to kill an island with a giant laser. Took over an entire city while killing millions of people. That scene still blows my mind. It's no secret that King K Rool is beloved by many people and one of the best villains in video game history. My favorite video game villain, honestly. But what about the other Donkey Kong villains? That's exactly what we're going to be doing today. We're going to look back at every other Donkey Kong villain and see how we feel about them. Because every Donkey Kong villain is always, "You're not King K Rool, you suck." So today, that's exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna look through the entire Donkey Kong series and look at every other Donkey Kong antagonist and see if they hold up. Are they actually memorable villains, or do they deserve to be forgotten? That's exactly what we're gonna be talking about today. Also, I'm not gonna mention Whizpig as much as I want to talk about him. I'll save that for a separate video when I talk about Diddy Kong Racing. So yeah. Alrighty, we're gonna talk about Donkey Kong Jungle Beat. Donkey Kong Jungle Beat is by far the weirdest Donkey Kong game in the series. By far one of the most experimental DK games, which I guess you can argue a lot of DK games are experimental, but this one was one of them. It stripped away a lot of rare references, minus DK and bananas, I believe. But even then, I still think this is the top 5 Donkey Kong game in my opinion. I guess if you want my top 5 Donkey Kong game list, here, this is my top 5. There you go. But I don't know, I always loved Jungle Beat. I always loved replaying this, and this is Nintendo EPD's first game. And then their latest game, Bonanza, basically. Yeah, 20 years-ish, huh? But yeah, Ghastly Kong, the villain of this game, is by far the least interesting of... Well, yeah, he's the least interesting of the 4, in my opinion. As much as I love Jungle Beat, he kind of just exists. He just shows up at the end as a final boss. He doesn't really have much backstory, which I know not everyone needs backstory to, like, this is a Donkey Kong game, so it wouldn't really matter. But in the case of like future villains that I'm gonna talk about, Ghastly Kong is basically just hype moments and aura, the character. Like, he has a cool design, his final boss is cool, but like the rest of like, he just doesn't do much. He just shows up at the end. He just doesn't have, like, if you see him at the beginning of the game, maybe I would have liked him a little more, but as it stands, he kind of just exists to me. And it sucks because, well, I guess I should also mention, I wasn't going to mention boss fights, but yeah, his final boss is, like, pissy easy. So, yeah, he has, like, the weakest fight, and he's kind of a pushover, unfortunately, so... Yeah, despite that, I still love Jungle Beat, but Ghastly Kong is, yeah, he's easily the weakest of the final bosses, in my opinion, of antagonists. And it sucks because Jungle Beat's top 5 DK game, but Ghastly Kong just, like, the fact that I haven't searched any, like, backstory stuff and did some research on wikis to see if there was anything more to him, there really isn't. So, yeah. Cool music, though. Alright, next up we're going to be talking about is Tiki Tong, the first Donkey Kong Country game since Donkey Kong Country 3, which is over a decade ago, basically. And it didn't bring back any Kremlings, that's what the devs said. We didn't want any crocodiles in the game, so they had to pick some new enemies. And hey, sometimes new can be good, but yeah, I'm gonna be honest, the Tikis are kind of lame, if I'm gonna be real. I don't really, as much as I grew up with Donkey Kong Country Returns, and the enemies' designs are like, I mean, they're fine, but like, I don't know. This was my first Donkey Kong game as a kid, but I just didn't really care for the Tikis. They were just kind of boring to me. And Tiki Tong, no question, is the, oh wow, a gimmick of a boss that's been used in almost any video game franchise. Yeah, he's basically the 2 floating hands, 1 floating head battle that you see at least once. I mean, I will say, despite that, I don't think Tiki Tong sucks, like, that much, to be honest. Like, his theme goes hard. I think the design is, like, he has some... He can be menacing at times, like, you know, and his theme goes hard, but it kind of sucks that, it just comes from, like, you know, the same gimmick that we see all the time, and I just think Tiki Tong is, like... He's fine as a villain. His music goes hard. It's a fairly difficult battle, but not the most... And the fact that they used him at Super Nintendo World shows that, okay, well, the impact of DKC Returns, I know somebody out there likes Tiki Tong, and I can see why some people wouldn't mind him, honestly. But he's like the you know, the gimmick that you see it a lot, so... Yeah, but I think Tiki Tong's alright for the most part, so yeah. Alright, now we get to Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, one of the best 2D platformers ever made. And we're gonna be talking about the villain in this game, Lord Frederick, aka should have been King K Rool. Alright, let's get that out of the way right now, because that's literally the reactions people had with this character, I'm assuming, back then. But, to be honest, I felt like Lord Frederick had the potential, because a Viking walrus sounds cool in a setting like this, but, yeah, he kind of just... I don't know, he's alright, I guess. You can really tell my opinion on these villains, huh? But, I don't know, he's fine, I guess. He has a cool boss fight, but it sucks that one of the best 2D platformers, no one ever talks about the final boss, or even the music, because I think the music does go hard. But, his boss fight is fine, but I feel like a lot of times they're like, wow, this attack feels like something King K Rool would do or something. But, yeah, it's kind of unfortunate because I think this is one of the weaker boss fights in Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, in my opinion. Because it sucks because a lot of the other bosses are, like, amazing, in my opinion. Like, the fact I see some people say Bashmaster, the polar bear you fight, that should have been the final boss, honestly, I kind of agree. He feels final boss material than Lord Frederick, in my opinion. So, yeah. But, I don't know, I think he's alright. I think he's... like, he had the potential, and I will say, because I like the Snowmads as characters, not as much as the Kremlings, mind you, but they were, like, at least trying with the Snowmads compared to the Tikis, in my opinion. But, yeah, the leader just kind of sucks, in my opinion, so, yeah. I guess he fires, like, the opening cutscene does make him feel menacing, but sometimes he can feel like a joke. But, I don't know, his move where he just freezes an entire island, and then, of course, use ice dragons. I guess that's the cool part I can say about him. Pun unintentional. But, yeah, Lord Frederick he's okay. If I had to compare him to, like, Tiki Tong, I guess, I don't know. I think kind of both are kind of whatever. I guess Tiki Tong had at least a song I liked a little more, but that's about it, honestly. Alrighty, and now we get to Void Kong. And I think without any surprise of a doubt, Void Kong is easily the most interesting of all of them, honestly. And I can say right now that I like, originally when the game released, or like getting advertisement, I know there was a lot of concerns of like a certain other villain. And of course, Void Kong's not technically the villain in this game due to, yeah, that scene. But I still think Void Kong does a great job as being an antagonist, in my opinion. The fact of like, Void Kong feels like an actual character, and I also want to give props to Poppy Kong and Grumpy Kong as well, feeling like actual characters. I've explained a lot more in my review video, but I think it definitely deserves its own video because, yeah, Void Kong is awesome. He's one of my favorite antagonists in, like, ages. One of my favorite new characters in general. And it sucks that, well, I know a lot, I shouldn't love him that much because Nintendo has a thing of, like, using a character or making new characters and they never show up again, basically. But I don't care, really. Void Kong does his job as, like, a menacing antagonist, wants gold, wants to take over the area and stuff. And it's the fact that Grumpy Kong and especially Poppy Kong are not a fan of him. It's just crazy to me. It's like, wow, they really do. I wouldn't want to work with a Void Kong. Well, he technically did when I had to do the DLC. By the way, I finished that whole thing. But yeah, overall, Void Kong is awesome and really does a great job telling you a story on him, why he wants to get gold in the first place, and also, I guess, emeralds, and why he's probably easily the most memorable of all the antagonists. I know he's not the villain and all, and I know some people argue like, oh, King K Rool is there, that means Void Kong, he was just shoved in and all, but listen, Bonanza did a mix of both. A new character, a new antagonist that's actually interesting, and of course bringing back the old favorite, which was King K Rool. So, yeah, personally, yeah, Void Kong sticks out in my opinion. I wouldn't mind him showing up in another DK game. Who knows if that's ever going to happen, honestly, but yeah, Void Kong is threatening, and I love him. I love his boss fights, by the way. He's definitely has one of the better boss fights in Bonanza, and yeah, he's just awesome, honestly, so yeah. Alright, that's it. That's a nice video for y'all for DK December, or whenever I upload this, basically. Yeah, we're getting close to December anyway, right? Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. What's your favorite Donkey Kong villain? Mine is King K Rool. I'm sure most are gonna say Void Kong, but I want to hear your thoughts on the other Donkey Kong villains. And if your favorite is Whizpig, well, save that for another video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time for more. Later, folks.